Hi, Patrick.
Hey Keith, sir, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, sir. And you're coming from where?
Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, right? If you were to throw a dart right in the middle of the US, that's where it
Uh-huh.
would land. It would land on top of my house.
All right, awesome. And so I'm just going to do a really quick intro to the audience
Right.
of so um Patrick is the master of Stop Doing Nothing Media and has agreed to chat about how coaching other businesses is part of the world that revolves around the software that is high level. Um, so Patrick is originally from California, spent some time in the Air Force, and has a great haircut, but much better skin than mine.
I think we
Um,
both went through the military. You came through what, Army?
Mine was the Army, yeah.
Cool, cool.
Um, yep. And so, Patrick, can you just give us a kind of a one over the world intro to your journey from when you were in the service to why you're doing Stop Doing Nothing Media, what your agency is about, um, kind of your the condensed version of your business journey.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, I was grew up in Southern California, born and raised, and towards the end of my formal education years, I really didn't have any options or too many options, and one of the options which I chose to select was going to that old military recruitment center where you got, the Marine armies and the Navy and Air Forces, and everyone's all waiting for you. They all want you. You're
Hmm.
fresh meat to them. So I ended up going with I took the ASVAB. I don't know if they still have that or not. And I tested very well, but two of the branches were really pulling for me. One was Navy, wanted me to do nuclear submarine work. And if you've seen me, I just for some reason I always felt a 6'2" guy wouldn't do very well on a submarine. So that was my choice to not go in the Navy. And the Air Force said that they wanted. I was very good by the time. At that point in time, I was very good with technology. So they were like, "We'll take you too." And the Air Force seemed like the easier thing at the time, so I went with the Air Force. Uh, did the basic training thing. Ended up in Omaha, Nebraska, went back when we had SAC, and I was in charge of the software that, basically the software I had was a classified version of instant messenger you have on Facebook. It's like allows a military base A to send an encrypted message to military base B, kind of thing. That was a big deal at the time, and
Hmm.
now it's Facebook Messenger. Basically, what I did was Facebook Messenger between military bases. I did that for 4 years, got out right towards the end there. I met my wife and we had a daughter, got out, moved up here to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Uh, Worked for Hertz, the rental car company, managing their tech department for a while. And then IBM, when IBM was doing a lot of outsourcing, IBM came in and outsourced Hertz. And so, Friday, I was working for Hertz. And Monday morning, I came in one day and I was working for IBM. And I knew ahead of time, but it was like nothing changed except for my paycheck came from a different company. And also, when things get outsourced, all of a sudden everything's your fault. Where when it was one company on Friday, everything wasn't your fault. So, did that, stayed there for 8 years, and then there was just no real good upward mobility at IBM in Oklahoma City. And so, one of the vendors that came in, we had a mainframe at the time. One of the vendors that came in on the mainframe, I reached out to them to see if, just the idea of even being like a 1099 contractor doing work for them. And they were all for it. It was really cool. They were all for it. So the end of that would have been what, 98-ish, I think. I started my business, went out on my own ever since then. And for a while, it was just traveling around the world, installing and training on a certain piece of mainframe software. And then at some point in time, I decided I wanted to switch it up. I didn't want to be so much of a coder anymore. So I decided to go into marketing. And that initially, my company was Focus Marketing. But like a year or two ago, I decided to bring all my brands in line. So I already had stopdoingnothing.com for kind of some business and motivational advice. And then I also changed the company name to Stop Doing Nothing Media. And that's what we are these days. We're a lead gen agency. We support the one and almighty CRM on the planet, HighLevel CRM. and we are an agent there, and we sit here all day and just build custom build outs for companies. So it's a good product to be in, and that's how I was lucky enough to meet Keith.
All right. Awesome. Thanks. And let's see if I can put this on mute so I don't end up having a reverberation effect go on just in case. But I actually have I'm actually live. I've got my screen up with my comments. So if someone does want to comment live so we can get some more reach, that would be awesome. If someone wants to ask a specific question, then as we go through this conversation with Patrick, if those questions either fit in, then I'll insert them in as we flow. And
Okay,
if they don't specifically fit in the existing agenda, then we'll roll them in at the end, and the two of us will talk about whatever questions happen to come up.
cool,
Um,
cool. And I can't see him,
awesome.
so I'm going to rely on you for the questions.
All right, fair enough. So so Patrick has his target audience and his purposes and his agendas, and and those are parallel to what Devin and I are doing in GHL Business Launch. So specifically in GHL Business Launch, we're focused on a market segment who we think is underserved. Um, if you have a marketing agency and you're making 10K or more a month, or whatever your local regional equivalent is, you probably have some pretty good systems and processes in place. And in fact, if your hair is on fire every day, that's what we're talking about today. That's part of the reason that when I was laying out who do I want to invite to talk about these subjects, Patrick was my first choice for for business model 7, because
Oh,
if
thank you, dude.
you're welcome. If you, the audience, is making 10K or more a month, or your local equivalent, but you're struggling with your systems and processes, Patrick can help you with that. If you're between 3K a month and 10K a month, that's where Devin's business coaching comes in. If you're between
Nice,
zero, if you're between 0 and 3K a month, that's where you're literally in startup and you don't know what you're doing, and we need to have a conversation about how we get you moving and how we get you starting to make progress. So
nice.
Thank you. GHL Business launches those two phases, 0 to 3K a month and 3K to 10K a month. If you're past 10K a month on a recurring basis, then we can't help you. We would refer you to somebody like Patrick. Um, the thing that we're trying to address is each person who's in this agency kind of space has their own unique journey, their own unique path. And one of the things that we see happen very often, always there's roadblocks and obstacles that we have to overcome. That's life. And one of the things Patrick talks about a lot is how you overcome your personal obstacles. Um, but what ends up happening in these two phases, 0 to 3 and 3 to 10K, is these two ditches on the sides of the journey that derail people off of their journey. And one is the illusion of permanence, and that's the one that typically happens to people when they're in the 3K to 10K phase, where they think just because that's what got them there, that's what they have to keep doing. And maybe it's no longer serving you. So just because you have been doing it doesn't mean you have to keep doing it. That's the illusion of permanence. Um that's the ditch of oh my goodness, I forgot the other word for it. The other ditch that will derail people is the shiny object syndrome. And there's so many options, there's so many ideas. And specifically in the high level world, there's people who are saying, this is what I did, do it my way. But there's someone else who said, that's what I did, do it that way. And both of them are equally valid for them. They're not giving you bad advice. They're giving you great advice from their perspective. The question is it the right advice for you? And that's what Devin and I help people work through is 0 to 3K, 3K to 10K. Am I on the right path? What adjustments do I need to make? Okay. So that's the context of what GHL Business Launch, the business launch part of GHL Business Launch does. Um, in this frame, in this discussion about how we get here, I have developed, and I don't think it's magic, it's a framework to think about the different ways that you can use high level. And I'm going to go through the nine business models in the framework, and I'm going to go kind of quickly, but I'm going to relate each of them to business model seven, and then we're going to get on with talking with Patrick about the coaching business model. So business model six is the traditional marketing agency, which is what High Level was originally created to help traditional marketing agencies reduce their churn. It migrated to what I call business model five, the marketing partnership or the outsourced marketing department, because the technology allowed the marketing agency who is doing activities to sync more closely with the operations of the client. High Level saw what people were doing with that software, and they realized they needed to launch SaaS mode. So business model six is the traditional marketing agency. Business model five is the marketing partner, fractional CMO. Business model three is the SaaS mode, where instead of doing marketing services, suddenly the agency was providing a software, a set of tools, and the client was actually doing the work, a DIY mode. A lot of people came along and said, well, the client doesn't know how to use the software. The client needs you to get results for them. And that became this gray area software with a service. So business model three is SaaS, business model four is SWAS. There's a gray line between all of these. The the business coach is looking at those agency models and saying, let me help you figure out how to frame your offer. Let me figure out how to approach your niche industry. And maybe what you've been doing is you've been trying to do a SaaS model, and you do need a SWAS model. Or maybe you've been trying to do a SaaS model, but you should just be telling your clients, this is hands off. I'm going to do marketing agency stuff. I'm going to use High Level in the background, but I'm just going to feed you leads because that's what your client needs. That's what a business model seven coach would tell one of those agencies. But until you have the consultation conversation, you don't know. The coach has to have that conversation in order to get there. Business model one and business model two, the affiliate and the value-added affiliate. There's a lot of people in the affiliate space who are they have some other message to their audience, and every once in a while they throw out their link to their High Level subscription. Hey, I use this software. You should sign up for this software. But most of the people who are being successful as affiliate, they're actually talking about high level as part of their messaging. And so this value-added affiliate is like a softer version of the SWAS model. So they're giving people advice on how to use the software, but the person, instead of getting software from the agency, the person is actually subscribing to High Level, their own subscription to High Level. Business model seven guy is saying, I see you're trying to be an affiliate, but I think you actually should be an agency. Or I see you trying to be an agency, but you may need to consider being an affiliate. So that's what that business model seven coach is advising these people how to do. Business model nine and business model eight. Business model nine is a software developer. There's somebody who's looking at the gaps that exist in High Level, and they're saying, let me provide a technical solution to solve that gap. Or they're saying, here's these things that High Level doesn't do. Let me provide a bridge to pull that capability into High Level. Business model seven guy is saying, if you have great technical skills, you probably shouldn't be a business model six creative marketing agency. You should be a business model nine software developer. Business model eight is a support agency. They're the people that are looking at business models zero, which is the end user, and three, four, five, and six, and saying, let me outsource some of your technical stuff so you can focus on serving your customers. The difference between business model seven and business model eight is business model seven is providing strategy guidance, instruction, coaching, mentoring, advising. The business model eight is doing. The business model eight is providing the service. The business model eight guy is saying, hey, I see what you're trying to do. Let me build the integration. Let me build a custom workflow to get that done. The business model seven person or the business model 7 role is this is what that workflow should do for you. Go have fun making it. The boundaries between all of these are gray. Um, None of them is a hard fast. I don't know. I have not met anyone yet who once I dig into what's going on with their business, they're purely in one of these modes. They always have some revenue stream that crosses over between them. So all that background is to for the audience to understand the context in which the questions I'm getting ready to ask Patrick. Um, so one of the things that I know about you is you have the ability to you're running your own agency, and this is one of the things where I say it's nobody's a pure anything. You're running your own agency. You're providing service to your own clients. You're also doing some business model 8 development work for some other client agencies, I think. But you have this portion of your business where you often tell people, "Hey, if you just need some advice, some coaching, give me a call. Let's have a conversation about that." Um, Many of us who do business model 7 kind of things don't charge for that. We're doing advising, coaching, mentoring, and we're betting that someone's going to sign up for our affiliate link, or we're betting that somebody's going to come on board as a client, or we're going to actually do business model 8 high level development work for them. Um, for you, that business model 7 component, that coaching component, um, how do you know when you should this is I'm rewording the question as I'm thinking about it. So it's
It's
not the
okay.
question I gave you.
It's
Um,
okay.
how do you know when you should be in a teaching mode versus a let me just provide services for you mode?
Oh, great question. This is definitely one of those acquired skills that you just have to learn.
Mhm.
And I'll give you, let me see. Between Thursday and today, I've got two examples of this. So, thir Thursday or Friday, I had a lead come in through possibly the high level certified directory. I'm not quite sure.
Mhm.
And they were actively, uh, they weren't, I think no, you know what? That one, I take that back. Both of them are the same. So both of them are the model of consult with leading into business. So
Mhm.
I'm trying to remember the details between the two.
Mhm.
But the one I talked to this morning was on Reddit last night and had a question. And I said, oh, I think I may have said something like, either let's get on Zoom and I'll answer a quick question for you, no problem. I don't remember the exact flow. These leads,
Yeah.
leads are coming in from all over the place. Not enough. There's never enough leads. But oftentimes, whether it's in the Facebook group or any place on social media or Reddit, I'll tell people, you're having problems with a very basic thing. Let's get on
Mhm.
Zoom for 15 minutes. I'm not going to charge you, and let's get it solved.
Mhm.
Um, when you help someone like that, sometimes those leads sometimes people turn into like literal prospects. They're like, what else do you do? And I'm like, I've got you.
Mhm.
I've got you. So for those people, I don't really do like a hard sell, if you want to call it.
Mhm.
I'm like, let's just help you out.
Mhm.
And often, sometimes the Zoom call just ends with, thanks for the help. I'm out of here.
Mhm.
But oftentimes, as is between Thursday and today, I've had two calls like this. It basically ends up, wow, this is great. I don't want to know this stuff. Do you offer services on this? Okay. Now we switch over into selling, Patrick, at that
Mhm.
point,
Mhm.
and we do more of this is the coaching. I call it consulting,
Mhm.
coaching, whatever it is you want to call it. This is what we offer. This is our one-off project price. This is our retainer price. This is geared for the business owner who has the budget for this, but doesn't want to become a high level expert. I'm okay
Mhm.
with being a high level expert. My prospects are the people who don't want to be high level experts.
Mhm.
This morning it was a doula. I think a doula is someone who helps with like natural births or
Mhm.
something like that.
Mhm.
So the company this morning they want to deal with birth and pregnancy and that stuff. They don't want to worry about tags or API
Mhm.
calls or
Mhm.
AI.
Mhm.
And so that call very quickly became, well, here's our options. Here's what we can do for you. I will send you this stuff via email. Let's pick a choice, talk in a couple of days, and move forward.
Hmm.
And this company has nothing. They don't even have a high level account yet. So they'll be starting from ground zero, which
Hmm.
I like because I, any issues, a lot of times you and I spend a lot of time in accounts cleaning up other people's messes or
Hmm.
cleaning up the messes of people. I don't want to call them, I hate calling somebody else's work a mistake. Sometimes it's just you didn't know any better, so you did the best at the time.
Hmm.
So you had your, go ahead, Keith. I'm sorry.
And sometimes it's the best, someone did something the best way that was available at that time. They followed best practices at that time. But now, a year and a half or 2 years later, technology's moved so fast and so far, especially within the high level universe, that that's no longer the best way to solve that problem. They solved the problem adequately. It's not even a mess in the sense of a mistake. It's a mess in the sense of there's a cleaner way to do it now.
Yeah, yeah, and also because I mean because I'm not sure I don't think I heard you mention this part. It's also because the product just evolves.
Yeah.
I mean, goodness gracious, high level's changing every single day. And you're right. There something was a good idea at one point, but they added a new feature and now it's time to do it a different way. And I'll give you a
Mhm.
classic example. One of my early successes in high level was getting high level to talk to ClickUp, my project management software. And that took actual work because I had to know the ClickUp API. And I actually still have all these ClickUp automations in a snapshot I was giving out. Well, what did I get in the beta for the other day? High level is now going to incorporate native ClickUp integration in the product. All the work Patrick did is going to go to hell.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's going to have to be redone. So um, if I'm ever in a situation, like that, I mean, I just tell, again, I've just, I'm not sure if you want to call it moral or ethical. I have a problem coming up behind other tech people who did work before me and saying they did it wrong.
Mhm.
As techies, there's 100 ways to do things. If
Mhm.
I looked in an account after Keith, I swear to hand to God, I would not say Keith did this wrong. I would say Keith did it with the information he had at the time,
Mhm.
and maybe now the information is different, so it requires a different solution. So you got to be really flexible in this model also, just
Mhm.
realizing that sometimes people also go through multiple consultants. So
Mhm.
hopefully someplace in there I answered your question there.
Yeah, good enough. So yeah, one of the things that I like to talk about the difference between consultant and coach, and we you kind of brushed on that.
Hmm.
What they do on a engagement process looks a lot the same because they're asking questions. If if we're doing a good job as a coach, or are we doing a good job as a consultant, it looks like asking questions.
Right,
Often as a consultant, we have a deliverable, we have a product or report of some kind at the end of the process
right.
that that you can see the difference between coaching and consulting. The way I describe it is a consultant asks good questions and finds the gaps and then brings an answer that fills those gaps. A coach asks good questions that finds the person's strengths and draws those strengths out to implement for themselves.
Good point.
Um, and
Excellent
both
point. Yeah.
things, both of those roles are very important, are very valuable to the person who's being coached, advised, um, consulted. Um, I talked about 9 business models. Of those 9 business models, I think Patrick, you probably do have the technical skills. You could be a coder. Um, I have said repeatedly that I have experience in all 8 of the other business models, but not business model 9. I can do no code level development, workflow build outs, high level account build outs in business model 8, but I have never had a client in business model 9. Um, the um, I've had paying clients in all 8 of the other business models. But business model 7 is my lowest component of those. I've had a couple times where I've had a actual consulting or coaching kind of relationship service that I provided. Usually I provide that for free in exchange in the process of doing something else, either a value-added affiliate or business model 8 support services kind of thing. For you, Patrick, so my answer to this question that I usually don't answer someone's question before I ask it, but in this case, because I'm asking a different question, I'm asking it to you differently than I have in my question sheet, because you're coming to this in a unique situation. Um, I just said I've gotten a little bit of income from Business Model 7,
Hmm.
um, because it's a yeah, let's do this purely as a coaching kind of conversation. Um, I don't think anyone has high level coaching or high level consulting as their primary business. I think it's always a supplemental business. For you, what what would cause someone to think that they're ready to have high level advising, coaching, consulting? Why would they think that they're ready to do that?
Probably a couple of reasons. The fir I'll use the easy one first. The first one is they themselves want to get good at high level because they have an organization that needs it, and they want to do it all in-house. They want to own the sub account, they want to own all the creative work, they want to understand the logic of like a workflow and how it works. They want to know themselves. They basically want to become a high level expert to use in a, I know it's going to sound kind of weird, but excuse me, they want to become an expert at high level themselves so they can use it in a non-high level related business, if
Hmm.
that makes sense.
Hmm.
So maybe somebody wants to go in the medical field like Josh Satterley or something like that, but they themselves don't work in the world of high level like you and I do, but
Hmm.
they want to know everything. Like
Hmm.
I have a client, I have a bus company right now where he wants to see every week he wants basically to review the work we did for him or do it live with him on the Zoom call so he can learn from it. And I'm
Hmm.
explaining to him why we do certain things certain ways. So where normally this would be a 100% consulting gig and we would just do the work and say, here's the result. No, he wants to see everything we're doing. I consider that kind of like coaching.
Hmm.
The other reason would be somebody who wants to become a Keith or a Patrick of the world,
Hmm.
somebody who actually wants to run a high level agency, because then the coaching isn't just the nuances of sites or websites or workflow builder. It's the nuances of, what is SaaS mode? What is, what are some of the things that Keith is teaching people? SWAS versus SaaS versus, 100% DFY kind of
Hmm.
thing. So those are the two kind of areas I can see where coaching comes in place. And you mentioned something that's very right. I have a sign in. Last time I signed in was this morning. I think I have access to at least 10 or 15 different agency accounts
Hmm.
inside my sign in. I have to scroll down to find my own because I've got so many others in there and mine's S and stop doing nothing. It's at the bottom of the list.
Hmm.
So yeah, I've got all these agency accounts, and for most of them, like I said, we're just doing the work for them. We are doing a consultative or a project based approach.
Hmm.
But like the bus company, for example, that's half consulting and half coaching is what that one
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a really good summary of how these kind and that's that kind of you talk to the boundary between 7 and 8 in my
Hmm.
framework. But you talked a lot to in my mind, what you just described is
Hmm.
how this business model is very much different than all of the others, because this one is about how you're helping someone develop their strategy, how you're helping someone decide of all the things we could do, this is what you should do. Where the business model 8 is, and if you're not going to do it for yourself, let me just do this is how I do it, and I deliver you the product. Um, okay, awesome. I think that's kind of addresses the issue. So if someone is mm, let's no, let's talk about the high level certified admin first.
Okay.
Um, because in my mind, and this is so to set the condition, the context, I have deliberately, at least to this point, decided to avoid getting that certified admin myself.
Right.
Um, Specifically because I'm trying to avoid becoming a pure business model agency. Um, to me, if having that level, that business, that certification, and having a business model, a business model go hand in hand. To put yourself on the table and say, I'm a support agency and not have the certification to back you up, that seems disingenuous to me. Um, but for most of my own clients, um, the clients that I serve as bulk guy marketing are small local businesses who I have personal relationships with, and we're working on a hey, this is what we're going to solve today or this week or this month kind of basis. Um, and it's based on a relationship I have with them, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to um, me selling based on my qualifications. There we go. That's the reason that to me that certification, if you're going to put yourself out there as a business model agency serving other high level agencies, in my mind you better have that certification. um that certification as a business model 7 that we're talking about today with you, Patrick, is the certification says, and I know the technical skills of what would it would take to implement it, so I'm not going to make
Right.
you a recommendation that isn't implementable.
Right.
As a business model 8, it says, and I have the qualifications to just go execute it for you. So that's part of the question then in my mind as I ask you, so what makes someone ready to be, what are the skill I asked you earlier, why would someone think they're ready to be that business model 7 consultant? Um, but also, so that's the qualification. What are the other um factors that they need to have in their toolkit? The other qualifications or certification, because there's actual certification. Um,
Right.
Qualifications or experiences that would prepare someone to do that, and then the risks and benefits of this kind of portion of their business compared to being able to do these other things that have very, very tangible results that people can say, yes, this is what I'm paying for.
So to make sure I understand this, you're asking what kind of qualifications or maybe skills they would have and use in business model 7. And then there was like a part two. What was the part two?
Yeah, and so what are the risks and benefits as someone is positioning themselves in that kind of framework
Right.
in of doing coaching consulting versus I'm just going to be a marketing agency or I'm going to be a support agency.
Got it. So start with I want to make sure I focus on these because right now I only had, I think, one question in my brain at a time. So qualifications as to why you would do business model 7.
Mhm.
Um, I don't ever like to start with the tech skills. So I would say the ability to communicate and teach well. That is an area where I just happen to know I'm good. I'm a good
Yep.
bridger and this comes from experience just all throughout my life, but mainly when I was in the corporate world, it hurts because I was a deep, deep techie. I physically had put together and pulled apart mainframe computers. At the same time, in that role, I had a unique job to where I had to give a briefing to the CIO of Hertz Data Center every morning. And
Mhm.
so I'm a techie in a room full of C-suite people saying, this is the mainframe, this is how it's running, this is what's behind, this is what's ahead, this is the problems we have. And I have to basically explain that stuff in layman's terms.
Mhm.
And oftentimes in a tool like HighLevel, you have to be able to explain stuff in layman's terms. You don't talk about checkboxes and radio buttons and APIs and OAuth and all that stuff. You just talk in very low end layman's terms. So you have to be able to communicate in an as a strategist, but as a technician, both. But you always start with strategy and processes, and then you move into the tech support side of it. And another reason this is important is because As far as tech goes, high level is actually pretty easy. There's nothing at high level that I've seen, let's not count stuff like API stuff, that's complicated to do.
Mhm.
And I've learned the skills I have in high level came from working inside of other tools like Entreport or HubSpot or Pipedrive or Keep. I've worked in our Active Campaign. So just over time, I've learned how workflow builders work. So um, if you're somebody who has any kind of experience and you just understand the concept of building something from top to bottom in web forms and WordPress, to me, high level is not going to be that complicated for you on the tech side. It's
Mhm.
the strategy side where I think you have to have really good skills, and you have to, oftentimes, techies don't do a good job of communicating.
Yeah.
We techies are antisocial people. They don't get on many Zoom calls. They they sit in their little dark hole in the wall, and they do brilliant coding techie stuff all day long. But they're not, they're not people persons. People, they're not people. They're
Mhm.
not people person. They're not you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They're not people. So if you're someone who's like that, if you're someone who's just wants to sit down with your head buried in API documentation all day long and learn about all of high level's latest features, then coaching or business, what you're calling your business model 7, that would not be a good choice for you because you're just not going to do well on the people side.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean to say that you wouldn't be good in that environment where somebody else was doing the front end work and you were doing the back end work, because
Mhm.
that you could use this as a bonus for
Mhm.
you. You could find a coach who doesn't know high level well, and you can become their brains behind the scene. And you would
Mhm.
do very well. So you're working at a high level coaching place, consulting place, um, but you're not actually the one dealing with the people or having to train or explain on it. So does that
Yeah.
kind of help at
Yeah.
all? I think I answered the question there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so because I think what you talked to is if you're because as I work through this framework, um, like business models 5 and 6, the product is marketing services,
Right.
and business models 3 and 4, the product is the software subscription, customized to the niche, customized to the client. Um, Business model 9 is code, is custom software, new software. Business model 8 is support. The strategy is the actual product for a business model 7. And if you're not a person who's versed in talking strategically, um, but in terms that make sense to the client person who's running a business, who's a lawn care company or a plumber, um, you're gonna if you're me, you talk over their head. It's not their fault. It's my fault for using 25-cent words when a 15-cent word would have done just fine. One of Patrick's strengths is the ability to use those layman terms to get across those very complex concepts. Um, so yeah, I think that the the risk there is someone um, who's either really technical and doesn't know how to have that relational kind of conversation, or someone who is so conceptual that they're just talking over people's needs, not over their head in the sense of um, incapable of processing the information, but irrelevant to what the person's trying to solve today or next week or even next month. Um, okay. Uh, so I think we're covering a lot of ground, and I think it's really significant that to reinforce that I don't see a lot of cases where someone's going to position themselves as a high level coach or a high level um, consultant as their primary business. There is a version of this where someone would be a coach or consultant in some other industry, and high level is the tool they use with their clients to implement their strategies. So they're teaching, hey, here's how you run a marketing an email campaign. And if you happen to use MailChimp or ActiveCampaign or Keep, all well and good. If you don't already have one of those, here's my HighLevel subscription. That's a different flavor. That
Right,
would be the one case where I think the coach would be the primary income portion, and
right.
the HighLevel subscription, either a SaaS or an affiliate, would be a supplemental or supporting. Um,
Yeah. I got the impression, maybe I don't know the field as well as you do. I got the impression that there were some coaches out there, like when I see like the Billy Jeans of the world, the
mhm.
Alley, is it Boyd or Bloyd? I can't remember.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see those two people, for example, going into Workflow Builder very often. Not that they don't, and I'm
Mm,
100% guessing here.
hmm
I don't know. But they remind me, and actually, those two are kind of they don't know it. I'm not going to say mentors, but they're kind of roles I aspire to be, where they're
Okay.
really good at content and really good at ads,
hmm
and they can leave the stuff that you don't need a front end face for. They can leave that to their team, which
hmm
is also good. So that's the kind of model that's another possibility, the kind of model. I didn't mean to interrupt you so much. Go ahead.
No, no, no. You're to the extent that I felt interrupted, I don't think I did.
Okay.
To the point that you think that I was interrupted, you actually, this is the part I love about these interviews is um I get people, I get smart people on the camera with me to challenge my assumptions. So I think
Got it.
that's
Got
good
it.
because those are two perfect examples. Um Yes, I think that the centerpiece of their business model
Hmm.
is teaching marketing agencies how to be marketers. And they
Got it.
happen to have they're using HighLevel for themselves, and they're using HighLevel as a product, as a supplemental product, but they're
Hmm.
coaching on being a marketing agency.
Right.
They're teaching marketing agency. Yep, I buy that logic. Yep, that's the business model. You're right. Perfect. Um, there you go. That totally satisfies that part of the question because you're
Good.
right. That's exactly right. Awesome.
Good.
So, um, for the next 10 or 15 or 30 minutes or however much time you have now, um, we talked about where coaching and consulting kind of fits in what you do. We talked about the fact that you are very good at that. Um, if someone were to be sitting here listening to this conversation and suddenly realize, you know what, I've been struggling to with the technology and I just need to get on with being in my business. And so how I need to get a hold of Patrick and have Patrick just solve these problems for me. Or if someone is trying to run their agencies and they're realizing that Patrick is the right coach that they should be talking to, either of those, how does someone contact you? What does that conversation look like? What do you do for them? What does that look like moving forward? So
Got it. Got it.
again, I'm giving you a double question. If you want me to break it up, and I'll come back to you with one after the other if sequential will be better for you.
No, it's okay. Just make sure I get answered what you want answered. So I think you're primarily talking about, what do you do to engage us, right there. And there are a couple of ways these days, and this is a note out to my other high level friends in this world, those of you that are watching.
Like Carrie Lynn Taft.
Is she watching?
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
cool.
she's our
Very
friend.
cool. Um, and again, there's just so many different ways to do this. There's no right and wrong. I could probably give you 10 different ways to make $1 million inside of high level. One of the lead gen things that's working very well for me is if you want to have a conversation, just text me. That works very well on just about every platform where I do marketing or I have exposure, is the texting. We're so used to pushing people to our website to fill out a contact form or to go to our calendar or to do all these things. And I'm kind of trying to change it up a little bit. It's like if you want to, and I do this for in-person stuff too. If you want to engage with us, if you want to know about our products and services, text in this particular case, let's put this out there. I want to know that you came from Keith's show. So just text Keith to 405-217-4752. 405-217-4752. Now,
Give
I want
me.
to talk,
I'll come back to the number in a second.
yeah, and I want to talk about this from a couple of different perspectives. One, I obviously would love your business and thank you very much for watching the interview. And this is just a very easy way for you to get a hold of us. If you're in your car at Starbucks and you're waiting for that triple frappuccino with the chocolate sprinkles on top, get out your phone real quick and just text Keith to that number.
And what's the number?
405 217 4752.
There you go.
Yeah. So I just I've noticed that the texting makes the barrier to communication very low. People are already texting their wife, their husbands, their boyfriends, their kids. They're already texting these people all day long. I want to be in that thread of conversations. I don't want to have to make them go over to the email app to type in Patrick at stopdoingnothing.com. So that's really a good primary lead generator. If you want to have a conversation about our done with you or done for you services, just text. Let me know that you are watching this on the Keith Show so I can keep track of my lead sources and attribution. Let's have a conversation via text to start. Outside of that, if you're at your desktop, you really can just go to stopdoingnothing.media and and whatchamacallit, and fill out the contact form. And the contact form, actually, the first thing you see when you go to the contact form is the calendar. I do eat my own dog food, so the Stop Doing Nothing Media website was built entirely in HighLevel, and the appointment and the follow-up and all that stuff, 100% HighLevel. I dove in first. And the people we want to talk to basically kind of come down to a couple of different audiences, which I think we talked about earlier. We have people who want a project, then they just want to walk away with a done body of work,
Mhm.
or we have people. Most of our people come in on a monthly retainer of some
Mhm.
sort, and it's not just a support retainer. There are some great white level support agencies out there, and Carrie runs one. So
Mhm.
if you need like white label support, please reach out to Carrie Taft. We don't do that kind of white label support that she does.
Mhm.
But what we do for our retainers is we basically just take an implementation and a marketing plan and we just work on it together every month. Usually we set up clients. Usually these are clients who have already had their high level set up for a little bit and their lead flow is starting to run, but they just want to scale it up.
Mhm.
And so people will hire us. We will go into high level. We will push our snapshot over there so we know how everything's working. And we will get them set up so they can understand the tool better. But we're responsible for managing the engagement and we're responsible for managing all the assets that are created.
Mhm.
And that's again the monthly retainer route, and then the one-off route is not too. It's a little, so it covers a little bit of the same thing, but not exactly. Where basically, I will give you, you will give me the body of work that you want done.
Mhm.
That was the doula prospect this morning,
Mhm.
because I like people to think about what they need
Mhm.
before they get on Zoom with me.
Mhm.
It's too late at that point, and you're trying to remember what you want, what you want, what you want that you've talked about with your business owners and your friends for the past month. If you get on Zoom and you don't have that written down and documented, you're going to forget something. So when you set up an appointment with us, I kind of nag you to, hey, create a Google Doc before our call, put all your requirements and your specs in there, put all your problems and challenges in there, and that way we can have a chance to do our homework and it gives you a chance to think a little bit without Patrick nagging you on Zoom.
Mhm.
And so those one-off engagements, obviously aren't they? Let's be frank about it. They're not cheap, but you're going to walk away with a very well-structured, documented system, and you will own all the assets. They will all be yours.
Mhm. Awesome. And very good. And then and if someone is so you talked about agency work for your clients, you talked about project work um
Clients,
for clients, and
yeah.
sorry, agency retainer work for clients, project work for clients, and then if someone is an agency or is thinking about becoming an agency, what is that purely coaching? Because you do have that service as one of your menu items. What does that look like?
Right. And I have to be, again, in total interest transparency. we end up these days we're not doing a lot of coaching. It feels like it's ramping up a little, but where there's not a lot of it going on. So
Hmm.
oftentimes for that one, I'll give people a couple of options. I'll like, if you need a high level account, here's a monthly price. Keep it for at least 6 months, and you and I will get on the phone once a month on Zoom, and you'll share your screen, and we will walk through some things. And
Hmm.
then that also gives you unlimited access to me via text message and via email, obviously.
Hmm.
And that, I like to have those in place for at least 6 months. And
Hmm.
my goal with those is just kind of go through a structured plan of learning all the features inside of high level from. And I like to do it. I don't like to do it like in menu format. I like to do it in terms of what you need to build
Hmm.
a lead gen agency for yourself as an agency, but a lot of people in high level, they need leads. They need ads run to landing pages. So the concept of building a Facebook ad, sending someone to an opt-in page or a landing page or a sales page that results in an appointment or that results in a payment for another coach, for example, that's a very common workflow. We've got that flow down pat. So if one of my professional speaker friends came to me and they want to set up a new coaching side of the business, I mean, that's cookie cutter kind of stuff. We can really do that. You know, and I think I might have even forgotten where I was going with this. Oh, yeah, that's really how the coaching side works. It's it's
Hmm.
it's something we're kind of getting. It's more on the newish side for us.
Hmm.
It's not something we've done a lot of, but
Hmm.
that's really what they would look like. They're not. It's not as much as our $1,500 retainer because our $1,500 2-hour consulting block
Yeah.
usually ends up being very tech intensive versus strategy intensive, like the coaching is.
Okay, interesting. That's like because I was going to say one of the things I'm going to do that's unique with this particular YouTube video once I um, pull down the recording is I'm going to put a link to Patrick's most recent video where he was talking about coaching. That's interesting. I don't think I picked up from that video. Um,
Which
that was focused on coaching. I thought that was more sorry, on the technical consulting. I took
okay.
that as being more on the strategic side, but that's all. So this is good. I just learned a new
Was
thing.
this one of my Wednesday live streams or was this something else?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
um,
I'm going to my own content right now. I don't even
yeah.
remember what I was talking about.
I remember. All right. So while you're looking that up, so I'll put a link to that in the
Hmm.
in the show notes at least if I don't also put it in the like one of these click boxes that shows up on YouTube in the
Right.
corner. Um and just for wrapping up for purposes, Carrie says this in context of the conversation we were having about where neither you nor I does white label services for other agencies. And we both said, yeah, call Carrie for that. She says, yes, please call me. So so awesome.
Ain't no shame in the white label game.
No, that because I think one of the things that when I talked to the interviews with people in the business 3, 4, 5, and 6 models, one of the things that I think derails people in those agency services models is either they're too techy and so they get sucked into doing the tech and they don't actually do the rest. So they get one or two clients and they get sucked into doing tech for those one or two clients and they love it, but they can't make a profitable agency from it. So that's one
Right.
of the shiny objects that derails agencies. The other is agencies where the person is either really fantastic at sales or they're really good at creative. And so they go out and sell, but they don't know their fulfillment sucks because am I allowed to say sucks on YouTube? I don't know.
I think I already said a curse word, so I already tainted your YouTube. Sorry about that.
Oh well.
They may end up bleeping that out. This is not, kids, this video is not for you.
Not for you. If you're not at least 18, you're probably this it doesn't matter. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter anyway. Um, so people who are really creative, they produce really great creative material, but then doing the tech stuff in the background ties them up. And so they need a
Right.
white label agency to do the tech stuff. Or they're a really great salesperson, but their fulfillment sucks because of the tech stuff. So having a white label agency like Carrie
Yeah.
come alongside them and do those things in the backside is fantastic. Um, yeah, awesome. So thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Always.
Yeah. Um, we do this. We do a live training every Monday, and I've been working through learning how to do the Facebook Live portion. So we've done it scheduled correctly for the last 7 sessions, 6 sessions, but we haven't been live for most of them. I was able to get live for Patrick's. Um, and then next week we'll have Labor Day. And so we're going to skip Labor Day. Um, Coming in September, we're going to talk Business Model 8, that support agency. Um, and and then and then we'll talk the Business Model 9, the technical software developer.
Right.
And then that plus a conclusion will lead us to the end of this series where I've literally interviewed someone in each of the different business models. So the people who are listening can get a perspective other than the Keith Brashear's version. And like as we had a conversation, Patrick, you made me challenge a couple of my assumptions. Um,
Good.
and you gave me some further ways to think about. Yes, I think my framework is valid. Um,
Right.
I don't think it's magic. I would hope that no one thinks that I'm so egotistical to think that I have something that's life change that's earth-shatteringly different than the rest of the high level world. It's just a framework to help people think through if I'm going to be an agency who is using high level, what is the right way for that to
Right.
look for me? Um, all right, awesome. Thank you so much. I got another couple of thank yous. Tony Juez says thanks, Keith and Patrick. Um, we had a couple people watching early, whether they're still online, I don't know. Levi Gann is one of my clients.
Cool.
His he is a hypnotist, but his specialty is stop smoking. So
Oh, very good service to have.
yes, and his unique thing is he's got about a 95% success rate. So
Very nice.
specifically, when he gives a money back guarantee, he knows that five out of that that 0.5 out of 10, he's actually going to cough up that cost. Now
Hmm.
his money back guarantee is he will guarantee for lifetime that it will work, that you will not smoke again,
Hmm.
and it's not a money back guarantee, it's a service back guarantee. He will do unlimited sessions or as many sessions as it takes.
Right.
If you have stopped smoking, you've quit smoking, and then you later have a relapse problem, he will come back. And so has a stop smoking guarantee, and he does do
Very cool.
via Zoom hypnosis sessions. Awesome. So that's Levi Gann. He's been watching this whole time as well. He,
Welcome, Levi.
um, yeah. So awesome. Thank you so much. And I will drop a link to at least one of Patrick's YouTube videos in the show notes. And I'll drop, I did drop the text Keith to 405, uh,
405-217.
217 4752.
4752. Yes, sir.
All right. And then stop doing nothing dot media.
Yep.
All right.